Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. This is actually a tournament replay that was sent to me by the Gobbo King, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with. This is one of the games he played in his recent Princess Pittance tournament. So he did take the green skins. Let's go ahead and take a look. He's going to be facing the Wood Elves this time, and he's got quite the force of Gobbos. So he's got a Night Gobbo War Boss for the Lord here. He's got the Tormentor Sword Wog and Spite of the Bad Moon, as well as the Leadership buff. I think it's Get Back here. Yep. He's also got a Night Goblin Shaman with Sneaky Stabbing and Itchy Nuisance. We've also got a Goblin Big Boss here. Gobbo firing line of Night Goblin Archers and Rusty Heirs here. We've got two Night Gobbos, the Warlord's Boys and 8-Beak Loonies. We've also got hidden in the woods here, one unit of Orc Biggins, a Black Orc, and another Orc Biggin. We've got one Force Goblin Spider Rider, two Spider Rider Archers. Actually, it looks like Death Creepers and Mangy Marauders, rather. We've got four Goblin Wolf Chariots. One of them is the dreaded Teef Rabbas. And we've got another unit of Moon Howlers. So lots of the mobile regiments for now, lots of Gobbos all across the field. Should definitely be in for a good time. You can see the Wood Elf has gone for a very mobile skirmish type strategy. So we've got, let's see here, we've got Deepwood Scouts supported by Sisters of Thorn and Wild Riders on this side. We've got another Deepwood Scouts here in the center. Two more Deepwood Scouts out on the far side with another Sisters of Thorn and Wild Riders. Hidden here in the back, we've got two War Dancers and a Dryad. So it should be a very interesting battle, all things considered. You can see that Spite of the Bad Moon popped on the Night Gobbo War Boss to give him a gold shield. Wow, I didn't even know this icon was in the game. Holy cow, gold shield. Let's see, 103% missile block chance. So yeah, he'll be blocking any arrows that the Wood Elves fire at him. Very interesting. I didn't even know that gold shield icon was in the game. That's super cool. But yeah, you can see Gobbo King pushing forward with the Gobbo Wolf Chariots and going to be hit by that Curse of Anraher. But as they skirmish away here from these Wild Riders, they are going to do a missile attack back. Because there's all these extra missiles on station, the Wood Elf player wisely pulling back away from that engagement. Over on this side, you can see the Teef Rabbas and the Moon Howlers robbing some teeth here from these Deepwood Scouts. They're going to get in here and do some nice damage on these lightly armored targets. Man, I love the Teef Rabbas with their yellow wheels because we all know yellow makes it go faster. Same thing with the Moon Howlers here, also with the yellow paint scheme. Very, very cool. The Doom Diver is going to be really, really key here. I don't know if I mentioned this guy, but the Doom Diver is actually really good against the Wood Elves. The fact that it has tracking shots, so if the Wood Elves are running around, it's more likely to hit them. And it does some pretty decent splash damage. It just doesn't do great AP damage, but of course that doesn't really matter against the Wood Elves. You can see a very pitched engagement over on this side. We've got 8-Beak Loonies supporting these Forest Goblin Spider Riders here. Those Wild Riders are taking some serious damage there with that Itchy Nuisance. I believe, did they get a smoke bomb or something? No, they're just going through the woods. Dragon Lady's coming down to the ground here. Going to be trying to rout off some of these chariots, getting some nice damage done on the Gobbo Wolf Chariots. But meanwhile on this side, the Teef Rabbas are beating a hasty retreat back towards the support of this area right here, and he's also getting a really nice concave of fire from the Gobbo firing line and the Wolf Chariots here, just continually able to fire in. And now he's got these Deepwood Scouts caught up on the Night Goblins, and they're going to be just dragging them down, as well as these Sisters of Thorn that are caught up in here as well. They'll definitely be able to drag them down without too much issue. Meanwhile, over on this side, kind of some just repositioning going on, skirmishing from both the Sisters of Thorn and from all the Gobbo units. A lot of missile play in this particular game, which is really interesting. It's a very, very unique game, I would say. You can see the dragon coming down in here, trying to terrify away some of these Night Goblins. Little do they know, both the Warlord's Boys, well, the Warlord's Boys are immune to psychology. The 8-Beak Loonies are straight up unbreakable, so they're not going to rout any time here. War Dancers are coming through, though. With their anti-infantry bonus, they're going to cut through these Warlord's Boys and some of these other lightly armored infantry here. So yeah, you can see them getting in with their dual swords, cutting through some of these goblins here. Going to be a rough time for them, but there's still plenty of Gobbo Wolf Chariots and Spider Riders around. You can see them kind of repositioning here to secure this flank. Gobbo Big Boss got a little bit out of position and got taken down, but you can see the Teef Rabbas coming in here, getting in on these regrouped Deepwood Scouts, doing a ton of damage, and then retreating through the woods. It's going to allow them to block a lot of that incoming missile fire. You can see the Wild Riders and Sisters of Thorn trying to react here, just a little bit out of position, too slow to actually catch the Teef Rabbas, so they're going to be able to kind of make a big wide circle around this way. And yeah, you can see the Gobbos have secured this area pretty nicely. This Gobbo Doom Diver has just been able to fire with impunity the entire match. And now finally in the late game situation, kind of the third quarter here, the Orc Biggins are starting to emerge from the woods. I'd imagine he's going to bring the Black Orcs out very soon as well. AP Gloonies are kind of forcing a little bit of a blob here, which is a really beautiful shot for the Doom Diver. You can see, man, was that just a pair of antlers that went flying in the air? That was interesting. Oh no, it's the wings from the Doom Diver. Okay, makes more sense. But still, you can see it makes some good impact damage, does decent splash damage, and takes out the unit models each time. So definitely like that pick against the Wood Elves if you can keep it secure, which, you know, Gobbo's got plenty of mobility, so he can keep it secure here. Gobbo firing squad, again, just using this Night Gobbo Warboss to kind of force up a blob here so these guys can fire in with impunity. They're getting a lot of really nice work done. Gobbo Shaman's also dropping that itchy nuisance there just to kind of debuff these guys. And yeah, man, that Night Gobbo Warboss not taking as much damage as you would expect, probably because he's an infantry unit model, so only so many of them can hit him at once. But here comes the Sirtha Gobs here, just running through, going to be lancing through these War Dancers, and as well as that Doom Diver just perpetually firing in there. Some really nice Fanatics from the AP Gloonies that still have a couple of unit models left, enough to throw their Fanatics out, so some really nice kind of Alpha Strike work here. Now the Biggins coming out of the forest to try and finish things up. Night Gobbo Warboss has managed to keep his leadership throughout this entire ordeal, which is pretty impressive for the Night Gobbo Warboss. You can see, though, this lady is probably going to be hunting him. No, decides not to charge in. Finally going to be compromising some of these Gobbo foot skirmishers here with Wild Riders. That is going to leave them open to firing in from the side, obviously, from the Death Creepers here, and also these Orc Biggins are going to be brought up in support, so they, with their anti-large bonus and solid weapon strength, are going to be able to drag down the Wild Riders without too much problem. If the Wild Riders were able to get a clean charge on these Orc Biggins, they do a ton of damage to them and could probably rout them off. But whereas they didn't get the best charge here, and the Orc Biggins are able to turn around and just whomp on these Wild Riders, it's going to be a bad situation for them. You can see the Gobbos were able to secure on this flank with that nice Alpha Strike, and Biggins and Black Orcs are still very healthy. The balance of power is starting to tip in the Gobbos' favor, just because the Wood Elves have taken so much damage at this point. All these Deepwood Scouts, although they haven't been shattered, are very, very tattered here. I believe, are these the actual T-Frobs themselves? Nope, just a regular Gobbo Wolf Chariot coming through the pocket here, going to be trying to inundate these guys. These guys don't have the best armor, so they will take quite a bit of damage here, but yeah, it looks like they decide that this stinks indeed. They're going to be running away. Prey of Anathrema dropped on these Wolf Chariots here, just trying to pin them in place, but I believe the T-Frobos are still here. I'm not sure. Yep, they're over there on the far side, kind of cleaning up some of these War Dancers here, robbing the teeth. I'd imagine that Wood Elves have kind of nasty teeth, being that they're, you know, living in the forest, and I can't imagine they're very hygienic people, but I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. But the Gobbos are probably the top tier unhygienic people, I would say. In Total War Warhammer, they are definitely stinky little goblins, but it does look like they're going to be able to carry the day here, potentially. It is still pretty close here. Gobbo Wolf Chariots, though, just riding through. You can see this Spell Singer floating through the air, going to be knocked around by those chariots as well. Dragon tries to come down into combat, but honestly, with these healthy Black Orcs and Biggins, it's really not the best place to come down, and it doesn't really have a lot of armor piercing that can deal with these Black Orcs, especially in this late game situation where all of his units that could have potentially dealt with them are so tattered, like these Wild Riders, for example. You know, with repeated cycle charging from Wild Riders, you probably could work through Black Orcs over time, but just being as it is, they don't have the HP to really stand in there long enough. You can see these Sisters of Thorns getting just docked by all these Gobbos in this pocket here. The Doom Diver has managed to use up all of its ammunition there. Very impressive. And yeah, the Biggins at this point just kind of pushing through. These Dryads are going to have a really bad time against Biggins and Black Orcs. Again, the Dragon trying to come down here, maybe get a terror route, but just not enough at this point. You can see the balance of power starting to turn more and more in the Gobbos' favor. And yeah, it's going to be indeed a victory for the Greenskins. So not a completely all Gobbo force. It did have a couple of Orcs to come in the late game there, but mostly Gobbo force and more Fanatics running through the woods here. I don't know if they got too many kills there, but it does look like they knocked down some of those Dryads, which is pretty solid. Yeah, the Spell Singer is going to be routed off relatively soon here, and the Dragon's also taking a lot of damage from the Daka squad now. The Rusty Arrows were able to be resecured, so with that, the the Glady, I believe, goes down to only 20 armor, considering the Glade Dragon only has 50 armor to begin with. With that Rusty Arrows, man, she takes an absolute beating from this Greenskin Missile Fire here. So yeah, it's going to be a victory for the Greenskins. You can see the Dryads trying to defend their home turf, fighting in the woods here. But up against these Biggins, they're just going to get cut to absolute pieces. Man, Biggins are such a cool-looking unit. I love the kind of checkered flag pattern that a lot of the Greenskin units have. And this kind of mountain, kind of jagged teeth pattern almost. Really, really cool. It reminds me of race cars in a way. But yeah, very fun stuff. Thanks to the Gobbo King for setting this in. And we'll go ahead and fast forward through the late game here as he kind of wraps up some of these Sisters of Thorn and other units here. Death's Creep is definitely being clutch in this kind of late game scenario. Once they've used up all their ammo, of course, they have that regeneration. So very well played to both players. It was a wild, wild game. In the end, though, these Gobbo Wolf Chariots were able to do enough disruption, and just the mobile force here was able to keep the Wood Elves at bay long enough that the Doom Diver racked up 115 kills. It was super cost effective. The Biggins and the Black Orcs were able to come in the late game situation and kind of clean up shop there a little bit after the Gobbos had whittled them down quite a bit. The 8-Peak Loonies and the Warlords Boys didn't get the most kills, but they were able to inundate those Deepwood Scouts. Honestly, this Wood Elf army had a pretty low model count to begin with, so you wouldn't expect a lot of kill totals across the board, which is why this 115 on this Doom Diver is so impressive. Very nicely done there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this battle. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.